All right, we got another video from Bullets and Blockbusters, guys. The original plans for Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. The reason I kind of put this on my watch list was because I really don't know anything about Kang, and I was just like, okay, let's see what they kind of got. And what I was getting was just kind of confusing. I didn't really see the full picture, but watch a bunch of movies with him, and eventually, you kind of, again, you get the full picture. But unfortunately, the whole Jonathan Majors major situation happened, and yeah, they went with Doctor Doom. So we'll see how that goes. But let's hear about the original Kang Dynasty. All right, go support the original video. Don't just watch it through me. That's cringe. That's so tough to say some out of pocket shit. I'm sorry. Oh man. Okay, let's do this. Let's rock and roll.
What if Avengers the Kang Dynasty actually happened and featured three separate Avengers teams going up against three variants of Kang? Not only that, what if the film saw the introduction of Miles Morales, as well as the deaths
Hmm.
of several prominent Avengers? Believe it or not, all of these things almost happened. To find out what the film would have been about, let's dive in and take a look at what could have been Avengers the Kang Dynasty. After writing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, screenwriter Jeff Loveness was hired to write the next Avengers film, titled The Kang Dynasty. While
I remember. Okay, so Quantumania was was that the one where it ended with a bunch of Jonathan Majors in a fucking Coliseum just cheering and shit? And it also had Modoc, I believe. God, I don't know. I never liked Modoc as a kid. I think I always, as a kid, I hated his design because I've always seen him like an X Men. I think it was X Men, where I always seen him in some shit, and I just always hated looking at him. Maybe it was Marvel versus Street Fighter shit, but yeah,
destined
or Marvel versus Capcom.
Daniel Cretton, the director behind Shang-Chi, was hired to direct. At the time, this seemed like an
Mhm.
obvious choice, since Loveness had just written for Kang and Quantumania, while Cretton had directed Simu Liu, whose character in their Ten Rings was going to be an integral part of the Kang dynasty. However, once Quantumania
Oh,
actually hit theaters, underperforming at the box office and drawing a negative
I just realized I don't think they've done anything with the Ten Rings. What the fuck?
response from both critics and fans, Marvel began to rethink both Kang as the saga's central villain and Loveness as the writer tasked with shaping it. Combined with Jonathan Majors' arrest and subsequent assault allegations, Marvel decided to scrap the Kang dynasty entirely and bring back names they could trust. The Russo brothers, who helmed both Infinity War and Endgame, were brought back to
Oh, they got scared and played it safe. Fuck.
direct, while Kang was replaced with Marvel's biggest box office draw, Robert Downey Jr., who would now be playing Doctor Doom, as the film would be renamed Avengers Doomsday. However, what would the Kang dynasty have been like if it was made instead? The film would have opened where Quantumania left off. Kang the Conqueror falls into the Beyond Zone, a chaotic dimension outside the multiverse. As he plummets, he's haunted by memories of a woman named Ravonna and a child he failed to save. Meanwhile, at the Kang Amphitheater at the end of time, the Council of Kangs, led by Immortus, Rama-Tut, and the Centaurian, prepare for war. They execute variants of the X-Men in a sacrificial ritual, before the Kang soldiers drink their mutant blood. Immortus then reveals that the Exiled One's time chair has revealed the location of Shang-Chi's 10 rings, and Kamala Khan's bangles on Earth 616, which are both sacred relics of the first multiversal war. The Kangs intend to recover them and use the relics' energy to power a device capable of rewriting all of reality in their own image. However, in order to do that, they propose killing every Avenger, every mutant, and every hero.
Wait, could the rings do that? Hold up. I didn't realize. Okay. Uh, I guess I never. The fact that they kind of sacrificing all the fucking mutants from X Men is fucking wild.
In every universe that stands in their way, starting with Earth 616. Meanwhile, Loki, holding the timelines together at Yggdrasil, witnesses the approaching destruction and realizes they've run out of time. Back on Earth 616, Scott Lang is barely holding himself together, haunted by nightmares of Kang. While trying desperately to reach the other Avengers, he can't shake the growing fear that defeating the Exiled One didn't save the universe. It may have unleashed something far worse. Elsewhere, Peter Parker
Oh,
and Miles Morales are struggling to juggle college at Empire State University with their lives as Spider-Men, barely scraping by while working delivery jobs at Joe's Pizza. They eventually get fired for being late after stopping a robbery. The pressure begins to fracture their partnership. Peter, weighed down by loneliness and watching MJ move on, lashes out during an argument about money and responsibility. Kamala, on the other hand, is plagued by nightmares of a crumbling reality, and hears Monica Rambeau's voice warning her. Because her bangles are dimming and glowing strangely, she seeks out Captain Marvel, terrified that she's breaking the universe. They take the bangles to Kamar Taj to meet Wong, who then connects with Banner, his son Scar, She-Hulk, and Shang-Chi, who are analyzing the 10 rings at a West Coast facility. Doctor Strange and Clea then arrive looking tattered and exhausted, after having already been fighting the Council across other realities. Strange reveals that the Council has weaponized the multiverse and destroyed countless realities already. Together, they confirm that the rings and bangles are not just weapons, but beacons, sending a signal across the multiverse, a signal that's attracting the Council of Kangs to Earth. Meanwhile, in Wakanda,
Oh, that is well. Okay, so I oh, this is kind of why I'm not the biggest fan of time travel multiverse type of shows. It just really confuses the ever loving shit out of me to like keep things straight. Like, oh, this universe is blank and not this universe kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just rather keep like it's like okay, keep it simple and for it just feels bogged down in the details. But that might just be a me thing. Comic fans would probably just like kill me about that kind of shit.
Sam Wilson is trying to train a new Avengers team consisting of War Machine, Ironheart, and the new Falcon, but he confesses to Shuri that not only is the team not ready, but he feels inadequate compared to Steve Rogers, lacking the serum or the inherent ability to make people believe. Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, is introduced as a depressed actor grieving a lost fiancée. He's visited by Trevor Slattery, who tries to cheer him up by taking him to a production of Julius Caesar, but Simon leaves the play during the assassination scene due to a panic attack. When he steps outside, he finds the world has frozen, signaling the arrival of Immortus, who manipulates time. In fact, 3 colossal holographic projections of the Council of Kangs, Immortus, Rama Tut, and Centaurian, appear in the skies over every major city, as they declare Earth's time has come, and an end of the Age of Marvels. The Council's warships descend and obliterate iconic landmarks, like the Empire State Building, Golden Gate Bridge, and Eiffel Tower. In New York, Peter Parker and Miles Morales swing through the destruction, attempting to save civilians, but the devastation is overwhelming. An Avengers spacecraft carrying Sam, Shuri, Riri, and Rhodey is caught in a gravitational field generated by Immortus' ship as they crash land in the decimated Tokyo. At their lakeside cabin, Pepper Potts holds her daughter Morgan and Happy Hogan as the air ignites around them, consuming the cabin in a violent burst of flames. The assault on the planet is so intense that it permanently alters the planet's climate within minutes. Fires burn so intensely across the continents that soot and ash rise into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun and triggering a nuclear.
So it's just basically them just kicking their feet up and saying "fuck you all." Okay, this would be a very exciting beginning or first half, I believe, depending on how the pacing of the setup. But yeah,
Winter. The assault concludes with the survivors retreating to Wakanda, the last sanctuary untouched by the destruction due to its shields. As they plan their desperate counterattack, the remaining world leaders have lost faith in the Avengers. Against Nick Fury's advice, they activate the Adamantium Sentinels, massive robots built by General Ross as a contingency plan to fight the Kangs alone. However, Sam Wilson rallies the Avengers, electing to take the fight to the Kangs before they can merge the rings with the Negabands, aka Kamala's bangles. Sam splits everyone into 3 teams, each with a different objective. To avoid confusion for this plot summary, I'm going to summarize what happens to each team one at a time. Otherwise, it'll get way too confusing jumping back and forth between them like in the script. Team 1 is
okay, that's true. That's a good way to break it down.
led by Captain America and made up of Captain Marvel, Hulk, She-Hulk, Scar, Wonder Man, Black Panther, Miss Marvel, Falcon, Star-Lord, Rocket, and Groot. Their goal is to destroy Immortus' warship in orbit, which acts as the Kang's central command, and to protect the Negabands. As they fly their spacecraft to the ship, however, the Adamantium Sentinels arrive and attack at first, but are easily destroyed, before Immortus himself leaves the ship and enters the vacuum of space to confront the Avengers himself. He fires a devastating energy beam that that tears the Avengers spacecraft apart. The Avengers, though,
Oh shit.
survive the explosion thanks to their spacesuits, but are immediately trapped in a glowing green energy field generated by Immortus, who mocks them and orders his ship to fire a green atomic beam at Wakanda, destroying it. Wonder Man, angered upon watching the destruction, shatters Immortus' energy field with a huge ionic blast, blasting Immortus backward and freeing the team, as the Avengers engage
Alright.
Immortus' elite Kang bodyguards in a zero-gravity fight. Immortus fires a blast aimed at Captain America, but Quill flies in front of it, taking the full force of it and killing him. Enraged, Rocket and Groot charge Immortus, who strikes them down with brutal precision, killing Groot, who mutters one last "I am Groot." Then, Captain Marvel launches a coordinated attack with Wonder Man, but Immortus overpowers them, hurling Wonder Man into debris and killing Captain Marvel, before hurling Hulk into deep space. During all this, one of the Nega bands flies loose into space. Immortus snatches the band and fuses it to his wrist, roaring as the power surges through him, while Kamala is left clutching the remaining one. Wonder Man, realizing they can't win, asks her to give it to him, which merges with his ionic form, turning him into a being of
Oh.
brilliant golden light. Wonder Man opens a portal and pushes
Okay, I don't think I know Wonder Man. I'm thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, I don't. Was he from the Marvels movie? I I just don't remember from him from anything. And then Moon Knight shows up and he starts cutting people's faces. And they, shocked, offended, and afraid of his level of violence, the fucking Kangs decide to leave. And they say, "Get back here, Kang, you motherfucker, you big old fucking nerd." There you go. I'm trying to remember the fucking meme. Like Dracula, you big old fucking nerd. Yeah.
the surviving team members through it, yelling at them to get out of here. Alone, Wonder Man charges Immortus. They collide with a devastating force before Immortus rips the second Negaband from Wonder Man's arm, leaving him floating lifeless in the void, as Immortus now possesses both bands. Team 2 is led by
Oh shit.
Spider-Man and made up of Miles Morales, Daredevil, Punisher, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Ironheart, War Machine, and Moon Knight. Their
Oh my god, I was kidding about Moon Knight. They actually got him in this.
goal is to infiltrate Ramatut's fortress built on the ruins of Washington, D.C., and destroy the Time Conduit, which the Kangs plan to use to merge the power of the Ten Rings and the Negabands. The team steps through a portal opened by Wong and Doctor Strange into the shattered streets of Washington, D.C., only to be immediately engulfed by an army of specialized Kang variants, pouring in from every direction. What was supposed to be a coordinated push towards the fortress quickly turns into a desperate fight for survival, as the overwhelming numbers begin to break the team down. Ironheart takes to the sky to lay down cover fire, but a barrage of energy blasts rips through her armor, sending her crashing hard onto the pavement below. Rhodey dives to shield her, unloading everything he has, but the swarm engulfs him as his armor is torn apart piece by piece by the sheer mass of enemies, taking him out of the fight. Kate Bishop then finds Hawkeye lying on his back, coughing blood, as he smiles faintly and
shit.
tells her, "You're gonna be fine, kid," before he dies. Khonshu then materializes to fight alongside Moon Knight against Ramatut. They engage in a brutal fight with Moon Knight managing to throw a crescent blade into the Time Conduit, causing it to destabilize. Enraged, Ramatut lunges forward, driving a staff into
Oh.
Moon Knight's.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Of course he would be fighting the Egyptian version. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. Why didn't I see that before? Okay.
Chest, killing him. Peter and Miles then attack Ramatut, who
I'll
mock
say, wait, what
him,
did he do?
driving a staff into Moon Knight's chest, killing him.
Oh.
Peter and Miles then attack Ramatut, who mocks Peter, calling him an insect and just a boy in a costume. Seeing Peter about to be killed, Miles jumps in to protect him and is killed by Ramatut, while Peter screams no, as the surviving Avengers retreat in defeat. Team 3 is led by Doctor Strange and includes Clea, Wong, America Chavez, Thor, his daughter Love, Valkyrie, Shang-Chi, Warlock, Phyla-Vell, and Cosmo. Their goal is to lure the Centurion away from Earth and into the multiverse to keep the Ten Rings out of his hands. The team initially joins the battle at Ramatut's fortress to create a diversion, as Wong and Clea open a portal to the Gap Junction, a chaotic realm between universes. As the team goes through the portal, Centurion, lured by his desire to obtain the Ten Rings from Shang-Chi, pursues them. The chase takes them through a rapid succession of hostile dimensions that include a realm of fire, a crystalline dimension where reflections distort movements, and a realm of endless void where sound disappears. Eventually, they land in the Gap Junction, Junction, a swirling void guarded by ribboned, demon-like entities that attack both sides indiscriminately. Amidst the fight, the
Ah.
Centurion spots the Book of Ashanti resting on a floating platform. Driven by ego, he attempts to steal the book for himself, as Doctor Strange engages him in a magical duel to stop him, joined by the other Avengers. Losing and outnumbered, Centurion activates a device that transports everyone, heroes and villains alike, into the quantum realm. The battle resumes as Centurion kills Thor's daughter Love. After witnessing her death and seeing Thor's grief, Shang-Chi has had enough and whispers this ends now, before engaging Centurion alone, channeling immense power from his rings. However, Centurion's forces are overwhelming the rest of the team. Clea, gravely injured, uses her remaining strength to conjure a portal back to Earth, staying behind to hold the portal open against Kang's forces. However, during the escape, Centurion steals Doctor Strange's sling ring and opens his own portal to escape into the multiverse. At Ramatut's fortress, Immortus orders Ramatut to execute Centurion since he failed to obtain the 10 rings. Ramatut carries out the command. Meanwhile, the surviving Avengers retreat to the Stark underground bunker.
Oh, they have no loyalty to each other. Okay. Right now, I'm just kind of in it for the story. I'm sorry. I'm like, damn. Uh-huh. And then what happens? This would have been a pretty all right movie from what I'm hearing, but I yeah. Jonathan Majors just had to yeah.
Bunker, where Captain America rallies the broken team for one final stand. They exit the bunker into the wasteland that is Earth to face Immortus' armies head-on. At the same time, the Exiled One is trapped in the Beyond Zone, haunted by something called the Probability Storm, a chaotic, metaphysical phenomenon that manifests as a swirling mass of shifting fragments of broken realities and millions of distorted clones of Kang, representing his infinite failures, alternate life paths, and probabilities. Initially, these apparitions torment him by both physically attacking him and mocking his inability to save his love Ravonna. However, driven by vengeance against the council that banished him, Kang chooses to weaponize this chaos rather than succumb to it, physically absorbing the millions of clones and the storm's energy into his own body, thus amplifying his power to a godlike level and transforming him into Beyonder Kang, an entity with the combined strength of his infinite possibilities, allowing him to escape the void and return to destroy the Council of Kangs. Back on Earth, the Avengers have engaged Immortus and Ramatut in an all-out war. Shang-Chi attempts to use the 10 rings against Immortus, but Immortus uses the Nega Bands to command them. The rings obey Immortus, stripping Shang-Chi of his power as they fly to Immortus. As the Avengers look like they're gonna lose, Beyonder Kang descends from the heavens and unleashes his legions of clones, which tear through the Council's forces like rabid animals, before he attacks Ramatut and Immortus, creating shockwaves that begin to fracture reality. As this is happening, Mobius arrives with reinforcements aboard a TVA Life Arc. Stepping out are a team of multiversal anchors, including Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, Wolverine, Deadpool, Ghost Rider, and the Fantastic Four, while the Avengers
Oh, wait, they're doing Ghost Rider and all this? What the fuck? Okay. This had to have been a two-parter though. I mean, there's just so much going on. Like I can't imagine it being a standalone movie. It had to have been, yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think?
fight on Earth, Beyonder Kang, Immortus, and Ramatut take their duel into the time stream itself, crashing directly into Yggdrasil, where Loki is physically holding the timelines together to prevent total collapse. Beyonder Kang kills Ramatut before tossing Loki aside and choking Immortus with the literal timeline branches, eventually destroying him as the 10 rings and the Nega Bands are fused together on his wrists. While the Avengers fight on Earth, Reed Richards realizes the battle is unwinnable, as reality itself breaks apart, and orders everyone onto the Ark. As the multiverse crumbles around them, the Beyonder combines the fractured timelines into one singular landmass, Battle World, a patchwork of destroyed worlds fused together. The TVA Ark then crashes into this new world's capital, Chronopolis.
Oh, is this how they made the this was before New 52, where it was like Earth 2 or Earth some I forgot what it was. No, wait, that's DC. Fuck me. Okay, so uh I get event comics kind of confused in my head. I thought this was when like oh like the worlds were kind of collapsing so they converged them in order to save everyone or as many people as they could, I should say. And it kind of becomes a whole new reality. Instead of like Earth 62, Earth da, 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 it becomes yeah. Like I think it was like Earth 51 for DC, but let's see what let's see how this
A
keeps going.
massive glittering city ruled by Kang, as the Avengers look out the windows of the Ark in stunned silence and disbelief. The script ends in a serene rose field at the edge of the windows of the Ark in stunned silence. a massive glittering city ruled by Kang, as the Avengers look out the windows of the Ark in stunned silence and disbelief. The script ends in a serene rose field at the edge of Battleworld. Beyonder, Kang, no longer wearing armor, reunites with a pregnant Ravonna. They kiss as the twin suns set, ruling over the ashes of the multiverse. Now, full disclosure, we here at Bullets and Blockbusters cannot confirm nor deny the authenticity of this leaked script. However, on the surface, it does seem legit. Not only is it well written, but it aligns with several plot details that have circulated in other leaks, like Shang-Chi and his rings being vital to the plot, 3 different Avengers teams going off to fight different variants of Kang, and Tom Holland wanting to introduce Miles Morales. However, there are a
Mhm.
few things that may raise suspicion. For example, there's a line of description taken word
Wait, now thousands are displayed and rest at Xerxes.
word from the script of 300, even mentioning Xerxes, a character from that film. However, it's also possible writer Jeff Loveness wanted to copy this moment from 300 for Kang and forgot to change his name. You'd also be surprised how many
Oh.
screenwriters actually do this. There's also the cliched scenes of Earth's monuments being destroyed as if this was a 90s disaster movie. However, it's also important to
It might have just been a cool little scene for them to show. Like Marvel does like to have their like their face for their sky beams. Like they're like, okay, let's try something different. Monument destruction scenes. A little throwback for the kids, for the adults, I should say.
remember that this is a first draft, which means the script would have continued to get changed and improved over time. However, real or fake, one thing is
Yeah.
clear. It stands as a snapshot of an alternate universe that never happened, a future for Marvel and us that was pruned from existence before it ever had the chance to be seen. Thanks for watching, everybody, and don't forget to like.
Okay, that was Bullets and Blockbusters, or Blockbusters and Bullets and Blockbusters. Yes. Go support the original video. This this was an interesting little glimpse. Like I got a little distracted there, but yeah, this was fun. This was a good one. I say yes. I mean, it is interesting to see like an alternate universe where we got Kang Dynasty. I definitely would have liked to have watched it.